Hello. Yesterday, Pinky, which is a little Pomeranian dog, um, in our building. Okay, we share about it's about 5 families here, 5 6 families, and there's this one Pomeranian dog uh, who's been home. Yeah, who's been making this building complex her home. She moved on yesterday. And I was there as the family mourned the loss of her. And I listen to life. I listen to life's rhythms. And I keep observing different movements, different goings on, different rhythms. I'm kind of very fascinated by the rhythms. I observe rhythms in thought, rhythms in emotion, rhythms in movements, rhythms in being, doing. And I observed that Pinky, she was not breathing. I mean, like, you wouldn't call her as alive because she was very still, her eyes not moving. But I could kind of sense that she was not really gone per se. Her body was still warm. And as I placed my hand on her, like kind of to bid farewell, I almost thought she's just going to wake up. But that didn't make sense. But then I could feel her heart kind of go warmer, and after some time, it was like I can't quite feel something is changed. It's not like it's there but not there. I can feel, but it's like there's something changing. And after some time, the person who's sitting next to me says her body's cold, and it didn't strike me. And then after some time, I just moved. I just with the gathering watching, and that's when I had the thought that she's right around here, listening to all of them crying about she not being there, about her antics, and she was they were serving her ice cream, and she was not quite licking it up the way she would, and all of that. And I sort of told those people that what you're saying, yeah, even after being dies, their soul is still around theirs. Okay, so they're not really gone. Okay, their presence is still there in our memories. So it may be just that Pinky is still listening to us. There was a certain slight shift. Our perception of what we can see and what we can't see, and how we relate to what we can see and what we can't see, it's very interesting. Pinky is a very dear doggy. And the thought that, okay, now her body's not moving, she's dead, while at one part, emotionally, it's difficult to accept, and all the tears and, all those different expressions of loss. And then the thought that her soul may be just around there, and all our ideas of different ways of what a ghost is, what is, what we can't see, of the Atma, and all of that. These are in the unknown realms. And with the idea and the whole context of what we can't see being around us, and what does that mean, brought about a certain slight different change in the way the whole thing was being perceived slightly. The loss is still real, but our perception of life and death, what we can see and what we can't see, changes our behavior, our attitude towards what is seen as alive and what is perceived as dead. And I thought this is a very important bridge that needs to come about between for the people who are living, and how we interact with who is alive, and our idea of what is apparently moved on, dead, our ancestors, for example, people who used to be living on earth, yeah, from whom life came to us, what we perceive as visible and what we perceive as invisible, and how we relate to both, and how our the way we relate to both shapes our attitudes, shapes our mannerism, shapes our relatedness, how we relate to things based on how we perceive what is visible, what is invisible, what is living and what is non-living, and how our relationship with what is visible versus what is invisible alters and is different from person to person, and the different mannerisms that gives rise, that comes about from this difference in our relationship with what is visible and invisible. I thought it is very important for me to speak about this and attempt to bring about a bridge between what we see as visible and what is invisible, so that our relationship with life is a more profounder, is gentler, kinder, mindfuler, most certainly. But in this movement, our relationship to ourselves, who we perceive ourselves to be, and where we are living in this place called Earth, a perception of what Earth is, I think stands to very beautifully, very wholesomely get richer and more meaningful and more profounder. I leave us with this thought in this moment, because I think speaking too much too soon may not probably, let's say, have you heard of this adage, zor ka jhatka dheere se lage? Something very profound you cannot eat a cake in one go. You got to eat it like morsel, little by little. So I leave us with this thought here, and I invite you to look at, maybe rewind this through this video and just listen to this and see, has your perception about who you are, where you are, what you perceive as visible and invisible, could there be any scope for improvement, for betterment, of there being a bridge between what is visible and invisible, and what that would mean to you and your life? I think it at least adds certain degrees of beauty and reverence for what is known and for what is not known. And consequently, what life means in light of this awareness. Thank you for listening. May your observations, your practices bring you peace, and may you share this peace with the world. Thank you.